to annualcreditreport.com. It's kind of a tricky whole thing, but it's good to know.
Yeah. You can. Yeah. There's three. Actually, I'll go back. There's three credit score companies. There's like Equifax, TransUnion, and you can actually get one free one from each of those companies, so you can get 3 a year. And it's a good idea to get those because if there's any flaws or anything on that credit report, you can actually get it fixed and will help your score. So you want to make sure that you do check them and there's no fraudulent activity going on. Yeah.
How do you go about contacting one of the things to get it corrected? Because I know one of my friends, he has the same first name as his dad, and so their credit history got lumped together, and right now it says he got $5,000 of credit card debt when he was 15.
You usually have to write them a letter and explaining and telling them to fix it, and then they'll have to open an investigation to get it fixed. And there's a time period in there, and then so if there is something, that's wrong on the credit report, you can actually get another free one to get it checked and make sure that they fixed it and got that wiped off of there.
Okay.
But usually you have to contact them and then write a letter, and then the investigation happens, and then they should fix it. And if it doesn't, that's when you have to just keep checking it and make sure that they got rid of it.
And the good thing about that is, let's say your friend is looking for a job or trying to get a car, and he has all this debt showing on there, which he actually doesn't have. There'll be a little comment on his credit score when they get the report that'll say, there's been some fraudulent activity. So it won't count against him, was what I'm trying to say.
So if the friend is a student, is that something that he could go to your office for one of those appointments and you could help him look it up and write the letter? Is that something you would do?
Yeah, we'll definitely walk you through the steps on how to get it fixed.
Cool.
And then we can look at the letter too.
Cool.
Okay. The average senior graduates with how much in federal student debt? What do you guys think?
38. Any other takers? 24. Any lower? It's actually 17,250.
I think where this can be confusing is there's other programs out there which will give you ability to get debt, not just the federal way. So that's kind of something to overlook.
And then kind of to go with the interest thing that you brought up earlier, if you actually look, they graduated with this amount of debt, 17,000, but they had a repayment plan of $200 a month for 10 years. They ended up repaying $24,000. That's around $7,000 worth of just interest that they paid just from borrowing that amount of money. So that seems like quite a lot. That's why you want to get a lower rate on everything, just so you don't end up paying a lot more money than you have to.
And pay off your debt before you go spend it on other things. That's why the budgeting is important.
But the rates aren't negotiable on loans, right?
Not federal loans. Federal loans is pretty much 6.8% interest, and then usually what federal doesn't cover, private can range anywhere from 0 to 30% interest. So
That's why you want to have a good credit history.
or have someone that co-signs with you that has
That
a
has
really
good
good
credit
score.
history, yeah. Does anyone know what the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized is? Yeah.
Doesn't one charge interest while you're in school and one not charge interest until you're out of school?
Yep, that's right. Subsidized doesn't charge while you're in school. So obviously that's what you want to try to do if you have that option. Federal versus private, we kind of talked about that earlier. You've probably heard of companies like Fannie Mae trying to give you student loans. Always do federal first if you can. Get the most out of them first, and then go for the private. Fixed versus variable. I mean, we kind of touched about that. And then refunds. You can get refunds through taxes and stuff. So.
Yeah. And then this website, NSLDS, it's the National Service Loans Data System, I believe is what it's called. But you can actually go to this website and check all of your student loans as long as you know your PIN for when you fill out your FAFSA stuff. So it's a great website just to double check on how much student loan you have and then the interest you're being charged.
So here are some classes that we offer through our program. Donald and I both took the middle one, it's really helpful to, even if you're not majoring in finance or something of the business, I think that it's helpful for everyone. It just kind of basically touches over every aspect of financial planning that you would ever want to know about. The other 2 classes are online, so it's just an hour, and it teaches you about student loans, credit, budgeting. So they're all really helpful classes.
I generally recommend the first one, 1183, just for like freshmen or sophomores, just so they know more about their student loans and then credit cards when they need, if they need to apply for one or something like that. And then 4483 for like seniors, just because it lets you know more about employee benefits, you know, how to repay debt, but then purchasing a home or insurance or something like that. So.
So come visit us. This is our website. We showed you the link earlier, but if you're afraid to talk to us, you can just schedule an appointment on our website. And there's also helpful budgeting worksheets on there as well. So you can put all your expenses and your income on there and kind of figure everything out. Do you guys have any questions?
So when you're making an appointment, how what's the length of time you have for each appointment? Like, do we have an hour or as long as it takes?
As long as it takes. It's usually about an hour, but I mean, if you think that it's going to be longer, just, you know, put on there that you have a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're really flexible. There's always someone down in the office, so. Yep. Yeah.
I've always heard that, you know, like your credit score and stuff like that. I've heard that it isn't so bad if it's just like from college debt. Is that true? Like
I've heard that before.
and stuff like that.
I didn't hear.
Does that affect your credit score?
That it's from the loans stuff. She said your credit score, if it's from the loans,
Oh.
and from college, it's not as bad.
I heard that it was not as bad if that's what it's from.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be that great. We
It's
kind
never
of
good to have. You know,
didn't go over
bad.
it too much, but if you look right here, your credit score is based on 35% of it is payment history and 30% is amount owed. So the longer you've had that payment history, the better your score is going to be. So even if you just have student federal loans or any just student loans, if you paid them off a long time and made sure that you paid them off on time, the better your score is going to be. And then also the amounts owed. Generally, this belongs to like credit cards or anything like that. But usually with your limit, you don't want to exceed 25% of the limit. So if you have $1,000, you generally don't want to go over 250 of the card or of charging, because anything over that, the credit card company looks at and says that you're living outside your means, and it's harder for you to pay off the card. So, but just student loans, like as long as you're paying them off, then yeah, you'll have an okay score, but it won't be that great. It won't be up in the 700s probably.